Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of High Risk, a pro wrestling podcast that's by the fans, for the fans.
Guys, we have breaking news.
Wow.
It better
be important.
Exactly.
It better be good. You
Yeah.
cut off
It is
the
very
greatest
important.
intro of all time.
It is very important.
Lay it on
Daniel
us,
Bryan and Bree had their baby yesterday, guys.
I'm
This is
Matt
very-
Sharp, joined by my co-host.
This is
Noah
very
Sharp.
important news. How are you just going to play that off like that? This is very important
It
news.
is very important news.
Yeah.
It is very important news. We're definitely happy for them. The arrival of Birdie, right? That's her name?
Bree Joe.
Joe.
Birdie Joe.
Oh, Birdie
I
Joe.
believe so. Yes.
Okay.
Birdie Joe, Daniel Bryan's son.
I mean,
Interesting.
yeah. I mean,
That's cool.
great.
It's a great name.
Congrats.
It's a
Yes.
different name.
Yep.
Scott,
Yes.
would you have picked the name Birdie Joe?
I personally no, but Daniel and Bree are an interesting couple, and they do things a little differently than a lot of people. So if that's what they wanted to name their daughter, I'm not going to fault them for it.
I think it's really cool that they're these really iconic superstars, kinda, and they kind of like that. They like the off the grid lifestyle when they're making all this money.
Yep.
And they still choose to grow their own food and composting toilets. It's just really cool that they don't let the fame and the money get to them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could definitely make that stuff, like, they can make that lifestyle, more popular than what it is. I could see them definitely being like a couple that is the face of that lifestyle.
I think they need to host a show, those mini homes or whatever.
Yeah.
Tiny home, tiny houses.
Yeah,
that's
the
how it's called.
HGTV or whatever. They need
Exactly.
to like host the tiny homes show.
WWE HGTV crossover, is it happening?
Ooh, you heard it first here.
Hey, that's what's right.
Well, guys, other than the arrival of DB and Bree's daughter, are we excited for anything else? How's this week going for you guys?
I mean, I just feel great in general. I mean, I was pretty upset and disheartened by the loss of Braun Strongman. But
Moment of silence for Braun.
Yeah. All right, that's enough.
And we're back.
Yep. But it's a shame that injuries like these do come along, and I just hope that the injury bug stays so far at just one. We don't need another injury bug going around like the last little bit of pretty much into 2016. We got a lot of injuries, and then a little bit towards the end of 2015. So just hopefully this is the least of our worries, because I know that they had a lot of big plans for Braun. But other than that, hey, Breezango, everything they do, I'm in love with. They are like the highlight of my life now. They have completely turned them around for me. I'm in love.
Yeah, I actually got to sit down and watch some SmackDown this week for a change of pace. Went and hung out with Scott. Or should I say, I was held captive in Scott's apartment. And we watched some SmackDown, and there was the Breezango thing, and that was my first time seeing the whole Fashion Police bit, and I liked it. I think it's cool. They know that they're a joke, and so they're giving us something to laugh at.
Yeah. They're very self-aware.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you got to watch SmackDown this week. It wasn't the greatest episode that they've had, but
It was
I mean,
cool
it
though.
was,
We got to bond. We got to spend.
It's
some,
true. It is very
bro
true.
Time. We went and shot some pool. And
haven't done that since college.
Yeah,
So.
which was only a couple months ago.
It was a year ago for me.
Well, for you, yeah, that's true. That's gonna make people think that I'm stupid and I didn't pass college on time. I failed one class. Everybody, make sure you go to your math class. It's vital to your education that you go to that. It'll put you back. So yeah, over on Raw, I think it's hurting them by not having the Universal title on the show because it just kind of feels like we're filling time. And there's a lot of build up still, and the women's side of things is looking great. Bailey went out and showed off that nasty scar that she's got on her throat. So we had some women action there, and Alexa Bliss is making friends with Nia. So, I mean, we got some stuff going on there, but I want to see the Universal title on the show. I don't like that we give it to somebody who takes all this time off and, is a part-timer and everything. So, I don't know, but I definitely still like the feud that's going on with Seth and all them, and
Well, going back to the Universal title real quick, do you think by the fact that Brock Lesnar has it, who is arguably one of WWE's biggest attractions, that it elevates the Universal title since it hasn't even been around for a full year yet?
Not necessarily. I don't think like it. I don't know. To me, whenever the Universal title was introduced, I felt that it was kind of set on top of a bar already, that it was already set on top of some sort of pedestal. And yeah, I mean, to have great names like Bill Goldberg and Brock Lobster on there, it's nice, but I mean it's just I value the title more on someone who's there weekly, who puts in the work, someone who's, I don't want to say deserving because that word gets tossed around a lot, but someone who's definitely put the time and the effort in. Not to say that Brock hasn't done that, and I get what the WWE means and are trying to do by not having them there. I get that, but just from a fan's perspective, if they're going to do it, then at least bring them in a little bit sooner. I mean, the next time that we were supposed to see Brock was probably going to be on the build-up to Great Balls of Fire towards July. And now that Braun is sort of sidelined, I mean, who knows if they're still going on with that or if they're going to push that back until, SummerSlam. So,
Well, that and part of it's that with Brock is that so when Naomi had the women's title, since she was injured, they took the title away from her because they say that she could not defend the title within 30 days of getting the title. So by having Brock have that title, that rule means absolutely nothing. So that's one of those rules to me that they like to pull out when they want to.
Oh yeah,
it's not something that they actually follow.
Well, it's a WWE thing, They pull certain tricks out of their hats whenever they need to. But yeah, it's whatever.
Even if we weren't seeing Brock, I think it would even help to have Paul come out there and talk some trash and just keep it fresh in everybody's head, like why we're doing what we're doing, what's this all about, because the only time you hear the title even mentioned is when Finn says, I want my title back, or Seth Rollins, he kind of mentioned it for a while. That's the only time you hear it, is whenever you hear people say Brock is next, or that's what I'm going for. But I feel like we just need, if there's not a champion around to say, like, look, this is the end-all be-all, I'm the one that has it, if you want it, come on and get it, we at least need somebody that's going to be there to talk it up, hype it up. That's my take on it.
Okay, I thought about that, and I was just curious of your guys' take on it. So,
to me, the big name with the title, that only means something to me if they're around. Because to me, it's like, okay, well, what good does it do for them to have it if I'm not seeing it? And if me as a fan, to me, it's easily getting put on the back burner. It's not fresh in my mind at all. And right now they're pushing the Dean and Miz thing, which I'm actually kind of liking a little bit more than what I was even a week ago. I like the co-GMing that went on between those two. So
you enjoyed that? A lot of people I saw were not a huge fan of it.
It's not. It's the best that anything with the Miz and Dean can be right now. Again, I don't like the fact that it's the same two guys yet again going after it. But to me, and maybe it's because I don't normally get to watch a lot of SmackDown Live, so I'm not comparing it to what has been done before. So they might be doing the same stuff they've been doing for the past 6 months to a year, and I just don't know it. But to me, it was different. It was, it was more than just them having a match. It was just banter back and forth all night long, and arguing over matches, and Dean going out there and not letting the Miz get away with deciding that because he was the GM, he was gonna walk out of the match or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, it's about as good as it can be with those two still being the only ones that are going after it.
So that being said, and what WWE sort of has in mind whilst Brock has the championship is sort of the recipe for last time Brock had the belt and went away. That was to build prestige for the secondary championship, which now is the IC championship on Raw. Do you feel a build-up coming for this belt? Because, I mean, you say that this segment was better, and sure, that this week was better for Dean and Miz, but, I mean, is the IC building up to be the belt that we know it is and that it can be, and the people who've held it before, you know? So is it coming up to that prestige, or is it still just, is it on a soft incline, is it on a major incline, or where do you think the IC championship prestige is coming and going?
Well, I think the fact that you made Dean Ambrose and The Miz co-general managers, and they were in and out all night long, that you made it a crucial part of Monday's Raw. So you're trying to put more effort and emphasis onto that feud to make it seem like a bigger feud and get more out of it. So I definitely feel like they're putting in the effort to try to elevate it. Whether or not that's going to pay off in the end, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Another thing with Brock Lesnar with me, though, is I remember when Paul Heyman was on the Stone Cold podcast, one of the things he said was he's no longer made Brock Lesnar must see, he's made him can't miss. So since of course he has the belt, you're also kind of making that belt. And like if you listen to what Paul Heyman says, you've now made any time that belt's on television or on a match that you can't miss that match because you don't know when another one of them is going to be rolling around.
Yeah, but I like as a fan, do you like that sort of unpredictability? I mean, I know that we talk about how the WWE can be so predictable at times, but whenever we come to talk about something as major as the championship belt, as the Universal Championship, you know, on the number one brand on Raw, is that a belt that you don't want to see every week? I mean, like, yeah, it's can't miss, but I mean, I don't know. If I miss it, I can always go back onto any social media and watch it. So I get what Paul's saying, but I mean,
well, on top of that, it's also the fact that the Universal title was a part of that Goldberg Brock Lesnar feud. Is some of the stuff I read on the dirt sheets was that Vince wanted that feud to have that title because he wanted that title to go on last at WrestleMania. Obviously, that didn't happen because Undertaker and Roman went on last, but that was the original plan. Was he wanted that feud to be the number one feud going into WrestleMania. So by giving them the belt, would have been his justification to having it go on last. But then, of course, now that it seems like that was Undertaker's last match, that kind of took a little bit more precedence over just one feud. Then it's a whole guy's career rather than just one feud between two guys. So.
Yeah.
I don't think it helps the belt with as far going back to the whole can't miss thing. I don't think it helps the title. I think that's a formula that maybe works for the person who's wrestling the matches and stuff. Like you want to have that kind of draw because you want to fill seats. But to me, when a title when it's not being seen by the fans and when it's off TV, to me that title is kind of turned into this Legends only club or this one-off thing. And I know that's not the case because KO had it and Finn or whatever. But I don't know, just to me, Brock having it now, not showing up, just feels like more of the Goldberg drawn out nonsense that went on for a while, and it was cool to see him back for a minute, but then he kind of wore out his welcome because obviously he couldn't compete the way he could 10 years ago or more. But so I don't know. I think that recipe works, but not for a title specifically.
Well, Brock Lesnar's a very curious case too, because he only works X amount of dates in the year, and they bill him as one of the biggest, if not the biggest guy in WWE. So it's almost like you gotta give him a belt every once in a while to
Yeah.
keep up that attraction status. So
there's definitely a fine line.
yeah. So I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm kind of over Brock Lesnar. He shows up and does one move for 10 minutes straight in a match to me, and it just gets old after a while.
Yeah.
So until he decides to show me otherwise and start doing something a little different, I mean, I'm kind of over Lesnar. So me personally, I don't really care about the belt because I don't really care about Lesnar.
See, that's the problem. Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I
To
don't
me,
know.
we have too much young talent to be wasting time with the part timers and stuff. Like, let this young talent
You can
go
also
after it.
you can use those part timers to try to get some of your younger talent over too.
Yeah.
And so you're trying. I mean, it's going back to a delicate line of you want Brock Lesnar to be this big monster who never loses, but at some point he's gonna have to lose, or else it's just
Yeah, but I mean,
he's just always gonna have the belt.
Who's gonna be the next guy to do it though? Because I understand I mean, if we go back to what Dirt Sheets were saying a little bit before WrestleMania, the long-term plan is next year's WrestleMania is Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar in the main event.
To be his official coronation for the third year in a row for him to be the face of the company.
Yeah.
Which is a joke, but...
So, I mean, being that said...
that will be his, what, fourth WrestleMania main event in a row now?
Yep.
Because he was 31 with Brock, 32 with Trips, 33 with Undertaker, and now 34. It would have been 34 with Brock Lesnar again. That's ridiculous. How does Roman Reigns get 3 straight WrestleManias and CM Punk never got any? Come on, guys. Come on, Vince.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
All right. I'm calming down, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I just don't understand how, like, somebody that gets the reaction, and I get, like, that's the end goal, whether they want the crowd to cheer or boo or whatever, it's better than the crowd being quiet. But to me, it's like, how can you have somebody be the face when, like, this Roma stuff, we say it all the time, like, it's a very small group of people that really actually like him. And you watch this stuff from last week, UK and all them, 17,000 people, nothing but boos.
And on top of that,
it's a fair split. And last week, it was none of that. It was just constant booing.
And on top of that, whenever he beat up Braun Strowman, he beat up a guy who has his arm in a sling with a chair.
Yeah.
Pretty maliciously. That is not something a good guy does.
Right. And so, again, they have another chance to turn him heel and do the right thing. Will they do it? Probably not. But, I don't know, because I thought the same thing. I was like, hold on, this guy got his arm in a sling and you're beating him with a chair. Like, that's not a good guy thing to do.
You have some random person tune in. Why is that guy beating that other guy up? I don't like him.
Yeah. Exactly.
With a chair and he's already injured? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
well, we'll all be sure to watch Roman Reigns get sworn in as the new face that runs the place at WrestleMania. Hopefully we'll be there. That'll be the one that we want to go to, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yep.
Oh, down in New Orleans. Oh, I can't wait. SmackDown. What we got?
Oh, we're already going to SmackDown?
What else you want to talk about on Raw?
I don't know. I didn't know if you had anything else to talk about on Raw.
There's really not much.
What about the tag teams? You got Sheamus and Cesaro, #1 contenders.
Yeah, but
after
feel like
just stormed through the whole division.
I mean, they've been #1 contenders for the past 3 pay-per-views now.
I know, that's why I didn't bring it up, because I feel like it's just more of the same. And I was Team Golden Truth, man, and let me just say how disappointed I am.
So you're mad at Sheamus and Cesaro now?
Yeah.
Which is what clearly that's what they wanted, because they're trying to get as much heat as they can on these guys. So
yeah.
I mean, they played it perfectly from my point of view.
Well, no, it was well done, and I'm glad that they're actually. I mean, at least they used the Golden Truth, and now I can see this falling out between the two and the Golden Truth disbanding, and it's not like it really matters because they weren't ever really a threat to begin with.
Yeah.
But I can just see Goldust blaming it on Truth for dropping the ball.
What if, alright, what if this is the feud of the year? Goldust and R-Truth, and they have their big blow-off match at WrestleMania 34 in a steel cage match or a Hell in a Cell. What if this is the feud of the year?
Or a Golden Dust match.
Golden Dust match.
Nobody knows what it is, but it'll be pre-taped.
Will it be in a house in Richmond, Missouri?
It very well may be. There'll be dustpans.
Oh God.
There'll be a lot of glitter. We need to write this in. We need to let Uncle Vinny know about this match idea that we have.
You got a prime opportunity. Don't waste it.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
No, I feel like with the tag team side of things, I want the Broken Hardys so bad, and I never thought I would say that because at first I was like, oh, I don't really get the whole gimmick, but then I don't know, when you really think about it, it's different, and that's what we always say we want is something that's different. So
And the WWE universe doesn't want Matt and Jeff. They don't want Matt and Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
They want Broken Matt and Brother Nero.
Yeah.
They're not cheering for Matt and Jeff. They're cheering for when are we getting Broken Matt. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I never really thought about this until I saw the broken gimmick and just the absolute want for it on WWE and all that. But like, who were the Hardys aside from people who do extreme stuff, jump off of ladders? One of them had a feud over Lita. Mm. One of them got more famous than the other.
Damn you, Edge.
I mean, it's just kind of like who were the Hardys before the broken gimmick, aside from just that? They were the Hardys and they jumped off of stuff. They had extreme matches. Granted that they were good matches, but just like, I mean, did we really know the characters?
Jeff was, from what I understand, they always put a little bit more emphasis on Jeff because they thought Jeff was the more charismatic one. And so now that it's actually Matt who's the one who's supposed to be the big star with the broken gimmick, I don't know. It's curious.
That's what I think is cool about it too, because Matt was always in the background, kind of. Mm-hmm. He was definitely the voice between the two. Did all the talking and a lot of the brute stuff, and then.
And from my understanding, he was the one. He was the one between the two of them that was actually designing the matches, like behind the scenes and doing that stuff. That was all Matt. Jeff just did what he was told. Mm. So, but yeah, I think it's just they're just trying to get a deal with TNA right now.
And I think that's stupid. I've said it time and time again. What good does it do to own a gimmick when the person that makes that gimmick work is no longer around? Like, it's the classic case of taking your ball and running home.
Yeah, well, Vinnie Max looks like he's paying some cash to get it, so they're getting something out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
we're still waiting on that TNA video library. We talked about this earlier.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. I want to be able to see, what was there? Bound for Glory.
Oh no.
Was that the WrestleMania, right? That was their WrestleMania, wasn't it?
Was that or Slammiversary?
What are you talking about? Are you talking about the one where Jeff's coked out of his mind?
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. I don't think he's seen that one.
You've never seen that with Sting? I think that was like... It was in 2011. Was it Bound for Glory? I don't remember. But it was a match between him and Sting, and he comes out, and he is just... he's on so many different drugs or whatever, and Sting just hits him with a Scorpion Death Drop in like 2 minutes and just like forces him down for the pin. You can see Jeff try to kick out. Yeah, it's just bad. It was bad. It's really bad.
But he's not on cocaine no more, so...
Yeah, he's clean from everything I've understood.
That's
and
good.
I seriously doubt WWE would have brought him back if he wasn't clean, because I don't think they would have wanted to. I mean, the guy's, 39 years old, 38 years old, something like that?
Yeah.
So this is like his last run, and I seriously doubt they were even going to give it a shot, because they don't. I mean, they could take it or leave it with Jeff with this gimmick. To me, it's more about Matt than it is Jeff. So
yeah. So yes, WWE, do what you can. Help out your boys. Give us the Broken Hardys. TNA, Impact, just stop. Just stop.
I mean, it's nice what they're trying to do, but now when you're like inhibiting or prohibiting someone from being able to do the gimmick that he actually created and the gimmick that everybody loves,
It's a slap across the face to the fans, is what it is.
Yeah.
It just shows that they're about the money. They could care less about the fans.
About the money that they don't have and that they need so desperately.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I hear that Billy Corgan, the guy who originally tried to buy out TNA, bought the NWA, I'm pretty sure. National Wrestling Alliance. So yeah, maybe he will usurp TNA as, potential indie dominance per se. Even though I'm pretty sure that goes to Ring of Honor.
Then we're gonna have to start talking about Impact and all that stuff.
Time or audio time on our podcast and necessary. So
True.
let's move on.
We'll go to SmackDown. We'll head over to SmackDown. Well, the opening segment to SmackDown, to me, I saw what they were doing. Like Matt and I were talking, and I'm just like, well, they're clearly getting a 6-man tag for the main event. It's just you could see it developing from the very get-go. When Kevin Owens comes walking out, I'm like, this is just... I just didn't see a point in it. I think it was just one of those things. They were just trying to get a big-name main event going on. So, not every episode can be a winner. So, it was fine. The main event was fine. Just storyline-wise, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. But one thing you gotta give it to Kevin Owens. This guy, he's so into the little details. Because when I talked to Matt, when he came out, when Kevin Owens comes out, I was like, Matt, watch. He will not step on his face that's on the ground. He will walk around his face, and he will look at him like on the face that's on the ground. He will not walk across his face. And what happened? He walked around his face. It's just the little things to me that Kevin Owens does that just blow my mind, and it makes it so much better.
I was kind of worried that with this whole new Face of America thing, I was like, oh, they're gonna totally screw his character up. But no, it's
dead on.
Kevin
it is
Owens.
perfect.
It's
yeah.
just Kevin Owens wearing a tie,
and which
is something he doesn't like to do. But
he keeps busting out like French, and it's just it's so bad that it's great.
Yeah.
Because he's the face of America, but yet he's speaking French, and it's just. Oh man,
something that only KO could do.
Yeah, it's the little details with that guy that just he.
That's why I've always thought him to be so great, because he's such a ring general and knows his presence. Kevin Owens knows what works for him, and he doesn't stray for it. He doesn't stray from it, and that the crowd clearly loves it. So keep doing what you're doing, man. We like it.
But yeah, that's one thing that I saw that, like I said, is just Kevin Owens. He's great. You can't say he's not great. I'll give it to Shinsuke Nakamura this week. He kept it short and sweet, and that's all I needed, and it worked. So I'll give him props this week.
All right.
Me and Noah think that him and Shawn Michaels version 2 are gonna put on a really great match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see it being it's definitely going to be a solid match.
I'm surprised to hear you say that.
Well, I'm not saying the guy's a bad wrestler. I'm just saying I don't understand his character, and I can't understand his mouth because he's got a mouthpiece.
Can't understand his mouth.
He's got a mouthpiece.
The problem, huh? Is it? No.
I just know you like to hate on me for my my love for Dolph Ziggler's ring work. And
that is a true statement. It is very true.
Both of you, really. You both have your moments where you like to gang up on me.
I just think that with Shinsuke, Dolph's copycat style of Shawn Michaels works very well with Shinsuke. Their personalities are a lot of the same, and Dolph can sell the hell out of everything that Shinsuke does. So I'm gonna be very happy to see Shinsuke go for the Kinshasa or the Kinshasa, however the hell you put it. I like the Bumaye, back in the NJPW days. Shout out to it. But
oh my God.
But It's going to be a great match. I just know that Dolph is going to lose, but hopefully that doesn't mean that this feud is over, because Dolph is a very good, incredible talent, and I could see this feud going on for a while. I just hope that they don't drop the ball with it and just let it be a one-stint thing just to bring Shinsuke in, because, I mean, I'm in love with these two. They're going to do a lot of great work together, and I think their match
I mean,
at
the
Backlash is
smart
going to speak
the
numbers.
smart move would be Shinsuke winning, but you think there's that off chance that Dolph just sneaks a win somehow?
To build him as a heel, and
Yeah,
to get major
gets
heel heat,
gets a lot of heat on the guy.
that I'd be down for that if it's done right. I'd be okay with it.
Sweet chin music. Right to the chin.
I mean,
They actually have called it that sometimes when he does
I
it.
know, and I like Dolph, but even I don't like the fact that he turned into a Shawn Michaels. First it was he wore the boots, and then the whole tight design. He was wearing the brown tights with the white designs on it, and then it turned into letting the bleach come out of his hair, and you probably remember whenever he hit the super kick and then he fell over onto the person, but he did it in a Shawn Michaels way. Because
I remember
I
it was
already
it
hear
was
people
just
saying, "Oh, so what? You can't fall on somebody and be Shawn." You know, that's not it. It was how he did it, the facial expression when his chin was all smushed, and it was just, yeah.
I remember that episode because I was just joking around with, oh, that looks just like Shawn Michaels, and next thing you know, he wins the match with the sweet chin music, and Matt was so pissed. It was hilarious.
And
it
it's
was
not
so
that
funny.
It's not that I don't like Shawn. It's just that Dolph has his own thing. He doesn't need, and Shawn would say the same thing. I believe there's moments where Shawn has said that it's one thing to honor the people that have come before you and use a move or whatever. But Dolph had his own gimmick, man. He had the highlights and or the blonde hair, whatever. And I'm just that.
He had a very
good.
similar gimmick to Shawn Michaels though from the start, though, didn't he?
Yeah,
They were
but
similar.
it wasn't.
I mean, they were a little different.
But it was still his own, and I think that Dolph needs to kind of go back to that. I haven't seen him wrestle in a while, but I imagine it's still some of the same. But
Yeah.
all in all, I'm a Dolph fan, and there was a period where they weren't using him for nothing. And now
when his first heel turn, when he first turned, that with like Apollo Crews and Kalisto, it was just what is going on right now?
My only real complaint now that I've come to accept Dolph's style is his famouser is pretty sloppy sometimes. It's not clean. He needs to tighten it up a little bit. I'm not too happy with his famouser.
We'll agree to disagree.
It's weird because like it's almost like he just, I don't know. To me, it doesn't look smooth, and I guess I'm just looking off of how it is done on 2K, and I guess that's the like mental image I have in my head for how it should be done. But just whenever I see him do it,
that is an algorithm that is perfected that is making that move so perfect. You cannot compare the real thing to a mathematical formula.
I mean, you can tell Ivan Drago different. You know that guy's got it locked down.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Continuing on.
No, let's talk about the famouser and the video game. Let's keep talking about that. Let's talk about that for another 15 minutes.
I have no comment.
There's nothing else to talk about.
Yes, there is. I have plenty of stuff to talk about.
Then please fuel our conversation campfire.
Okay, moving on. So we were talking about last week what they're doing with Charlotte, and like she's supposed to be with the good guys, but is she gonna be a good guy or a bad guy? And with the backstage segment, she's a part of the good guy team, but she still has the same attitude. So I'm digging it. It's like it's work. She's like a reluctant team member. She does it because she knows she has to in order to beat these guys, but she doesn't want to. So I think they're doing it perfectly with Charlotte right now. To keep her that everyone knows Charlotte, but to get her on that other side.
The Welcoming Committee, is that their legit faction name?
Yes, that is 100% what they call them.
See,
that's horrible.
Yeah. the welcoming committee.
Because it was Charlotte comes in and she just demanded a title shot, and they're like, "Well, we're the welcoming committee. You don't deserve that." And it's like, okay,
Jeez, that's dumb.
PCB's a better name than that.
yeah. I mean, no. Yeah, Matt, do you have any comment? What do you think? What did you think about SmackDown since you hadn't watched it in a while?
Man, I plan to watch it quite a bit more now. I liked the 2-hour show.
Yeah, because we're sitting there and it's like 8:30. And you're like, what? Oh, this is already the main event. I was like, yeah, the beauty of having a 2-hour show.
He's like, that's why I didn't volunteer to watch Raw. But, no, I really liked the pacing, and to me, that just goes to show you really don't need a 3-hour show. And you could argue, do you really need a two-hour show? I mean, I think you do, but it could be argued either way.
I mean, NXT does pretty good, but yeah, and then go ahead. Sorry.
That style definitely fits for a roster that's just starting out, and you're only focusing on a certain amount of them at one time or whatever.
Yeah, you're just constantly flipping through because Aleister Black wasn't on last week, but he's on this week, so it's just kind of.
Yeah. But no, I definitely like the 2-hour thing. I don't know, it just flowed. SmackDown seemed to flow a little bit better than Raw for me. There's not a lot of dead space. It's the action. I think you had mentioned that SmackDown is the action-packed one thing after the other. I think you are the one that said that, or did I?
Maybe not. I don't know.
Did I dream about that? Did I have such a good time with you that I just dreamt about it and lived it twice?
Well, I mean, I feel like with SmackDown, just about everything they do has meaning for the most part. Obviously, there's going to be some things that are just kind of like that opening segment. I think they just set that up just so they had a main event with 6 guys. Like, it made sense in that episode, but in the overall storylines, it didn't really do a whole lot. So,
I will say though, one thing that I'm kind of worried about is this match with Jinder and Randy. And I'll tell you why I'm worried, because Jinder, to me, he's just kind of stiff, and from what little bit I've seen of him from when he was on Raw, I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem like he flows as well in the ring. And Randy can put on a good match, but again, it's when he wants to. So I'm just worried that, I mean, I want the match to be great, and I think it could. But I think that's going to be dependent on Randy and what he decides to do for that night, because I don't think Jinder is quite at that point to go out there and take care of it.
I don't think that their styles really complement each other overall. I mean, like, typically people who work stiff in the ring wrestle a slower style match to make those really big, hard-hitting moments stand out. But, I mean, sure, Jinder can, pick up the pace when he needs to, and so can Randy, but I feel like it's going to wind up just being a slow match with a lot of working holds. And that's just the thing that fears me the most between their match. Yeah.
Well, on a pay-per-view that you have AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens and Shinsuke and Nakamura or Shinsuke and Dolph Ziggler, that match, it's not going to be a match of the night or anything. It'll be a match, and it'll be a match for the title, and to me, that's going to be the extent of it.
Yeah.
Because when you got workers like AJ Styles and Kevin Owens going at it,
I'm excited for that.
That's gonna be good. That's gonna be a match right there. So, like, it's a match, and we'll see what happens. I don't think this is gonna end up with it for anything with Jinder. I think they just, first off, I think they wanted a little bit of surprise, and they're still kind of rebuilding after Mania to figure out where they're gonna go. And on top of that, they're making this push in India, so they wanted somebody from India, so they had a little bit more media. So, like I said, I don't see this ending well for Jinder, and I think he's just going to go back to what he was doing after this is all over with.
Have the Singh brothers fought yet? Have they done?
No,
they made the ring
they don't do much anything. They've interfered in a couple matches, but that's been the extent of it. They haven't even been in a regular match.
I don't like that. I mean, like, if you're gonna have a because to me it almost seems like Seth Rollins whenever he had Jamie Noble and Mercury out there. It was
Joey
yeah.
Mercury.
So
And those guys just vanished. Like, it was after one pay-per-view, and then next thing you know, they're just never there again. Like, you never got a reason why they're not there. They just weren't there anymore.
Yeah.
Jamie Noble gets some TV time anytime there's a fight backstage. He'll run out there with Finley and Road Dogg. Is that his name?
He's a producer, I think.
yeah.
Is it right? Aren't they all producers?
Yeah. So I mean, you see Jamie Noble time, and it cracks me up to see that little guy trying to break up these fights. He couldn't hold his own in one anyway. So, but well, anything more on SmackDown? Anything we want to cover or bring up, or any hot takes or anything as far as that goes?
Well, my hot take was I actually thought Shinsuke's segment was good this week, so that's my hot take.
That was a hot take. That threw me for a loop.
Yeah, just Breezango, they're entertaining, and that's why we watch WWE to be entertained, and they are definitely entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Rusev will be on television next week.
Good. I miss handsome Rusev.
He won't wrestle because I think he's still recovering from surgery, but he will be on SmackDown next week.
I wonder if Lana's going to be with him, or they're going to keep them separated.
No, they're 100% separated now.
I hate
that. They cut a, what do you call it, like a teaser?
Vignette.
Yeah.
Well,
they've been doing that for like a month now.
Yeah,
ever since the shakeup, they're both on SmackDown, but Lana's not Rusev's manager anymore.
Watch Lana come in and be one of the greatest female athletes the business has ever seen.
Whenever she did the pre-show at WrestleMania 32, I didn't think she was that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like her outfit. It was just kind of weird.
Her one-piece swimsuit.
Yeah, it was just odd. It was like a Dana Brooke, like
her pajamas.
Yeah,
her pajamas.
Yeah, but I mean, I just from what I saw and what she's doing, she's taking a lot of time in the Performance Center and just doing some. She did a couple of NXT house shows not too long ago, so I think that she's approaching it the right way at least, and not just jumping into it, taking her time, actually taking a bumps. It's no longer the WWE of old where you get pulled from the Diva Search and we make models wrestlers, you know. So I think that whenever it comes for new women's wrestlers, WWE they're actually putting time and effort and molding them into being solid wrestlers and not just visual, you know, not just being visually appealing.
Yeah, because it definitely with the women, they're getting better about being more wrestlers. It's not always the case. Dana Brooke, she's getting better from the few matches I have seen, and Nia Jax shows up to the ring. What she does inside there, well.
Hey, I mean, not all of them can be winners, you know.
I just don't understand why they pulled her to the main roster when they did. Because she could have used so much more time in NXT and could have been such a better wrestler. And she could have been even more. She could have been a monster on the main roster if they would have gave her time to develop better.
Well,
instead of dropping Charlotte on her face in a match.
When you are direct lineage to the people's eyebrow, that gets you places.
No comment.
That'll get you far in life.